Welcome to the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce for today's Member Spotlight. My name is Brian Weatherford, and I'll be your host. Today, we're going to talk to Robert Blake. Robert Blake is with Bit by Bit, technically Bit by Bit Computer Consultants.
Yes, sir.
Correct, Robert? Is that the whole name?
Yep.
Welcome. Good to see you, man. How are you doing?
Wonderful.
Yeah, I got to say, I've known you for quite a while, and of course, Bit by Bit. Bit by Bit has one of those names that I just love. I like to keep up with company names. If you're in the computer business, Bit by Bit is pretty clever. Can you take credit for that yourself?
I wish. That was well before my time.
Well before your time. Well, let's get into your time then, but I want to back up just a bit. Obviously, you're the computer guy now. Have you always been that guy? Have you always been into techie stuff?
That was me. I started out in the business in 1993, right out of school.
Goodness.
Started with, oddly enough, microfilm, but developing document imaging solutions, and stayed with that company for the next, 10 years.
So you got a little experience in techno stuff.
Yeah, and went through there. And what's funny is Bit by Bit was my competitor back then.
Interesting.
So had a long-standing relationship with them.
Well, we'll get into that in a sec. But before we get into you coming on board and Bit by Bit, the whole thing, I think it's only fair to say, what the heck do you do? I mean, the consulting could be a whole lot of things, but what are the type of services offered?
Well, yeah, we do whatever our clients need. Essentially, what I mainly look for is going in. We are the IT department for a company. So we handle the computers, the network, the security, the inventory management, if the case is, the security awareness training, make sure that the new users are added properly and deleted properly out of the system. As well, we also have divisions to do software development, communications, so fax systems. Yes, fax is still a thing.
Still a thing.
Telephony, so telephones. And we also do our projects. So the main thing we focus at here at Bit by Bit Texas is the managed IT services, like what we do here for the chamber, which is all things technology, except, of course, the video that we're looking at today.
Right.
But we have helped with the conference room. We've helped with the servers, moving that up to the cloud. We handle all of the day-to-day help desk operations and on-site.
I want to back up to one of the very first things you just said. We are the IT department for companies, and I like that because a lot of the big companies truly have in-house IT departments, but everybody has IT issues regardless of their size, but not everyone can afford to have a big full-time department.
Right.
And that's where you guys come in to fill that hole to make the little guys feel like the big guys.
Correct. So when someone's expanding an office, changing an office, adding a solution, adding a accounting system, we actually consult with them ahead of time, so we make sure that we're prepared with the hardware, with the resources, with whatever it's going to take to roll it out.
Whatever people need, you're going to find it first and foremost.
Yeah, but we try to be proactive in that.
Proactive. Well, and that's important to know because, again, you keep up with this stuff day by day. Other people have businesses to run. They can't keep up with it, but you're, as their IT department, you're staying on top of the technology and the latest, greatest things.
Correct.
And you can solve a problem before the problem happens.
Yep. So if you're going to bring something on, if you're going to bring new employees on, anything of that nature, you really need to talk to your IT company or your IT department first so that we can make sure that we have all the resources, all the computers, and the bandwidth to get somebody onboarded. A lot of people think that whenever they call you on the phone, hey, I need to set up a new user, you just push a button. There's more that goes into that. You have to set them up on the server. You have to set up their email. You have to set them up in the security system. You have to, go down the list to make sure that they have all the programs they need. And that's one of the things that we do as an IT company. So when we onboard a new client, for instance, we have a list of a salesperson. He needs this type of computer. He needs these programs. He needs access to this. If we hire a financial person within that same organization, it may be a completely different setup.
Okay. And then when you get into remote employees, it's just a whole other thing. Not everybody's sitting in offices all the time. People are out.
As of COVID, that is very much the case. In fact, we have clients that have all but dissolved, their infrastructure in the main office, utilize everything in the cloud, and then we deal with all their employees remotely.
Well, and then that brings up a whole different realm of security issues in that
it does.
Everybody's not in the comfort of having these giant firewalls to protect them.
Correct.
Now they're outside of this, and then but you guys, bit by bit, is right there along the way.
Correct.
knowing all the stuff to do before it needs to be done. Proactive is a great way to put it.
We have software that we use to monitor the computers, that we use to protect the computers, and we're able to actually dial into computers, maintain them as needed. So whenever you call in for remote support, we can immediately get in there and help you online.
All right, let's get back over to the company itself here for a second. We'll get back to the services here a bit by bit. See what I did there. But bit by bit, I was interested. It was really neat for me, eye-opening for me to learn as I was studying today. I thought that bit by bit started here and it always been here in Texas because if I'm not mistaken, you're a Texas guy.
I am.
Right? But bit by bit hasn't always been here. So how did they end up in Texas?
Well, I wasn't going to move to New York.
Okay.
So it all started in a galaxy far, far away. and 15 years ago seems like that at this point. My kids are grown up. They're out of the house. And it does seem like forever. But, Bit by Bit was a competitor. They were one of my clients. I got to know Bruce, the president of the company. They're very family-oriented, very business-oriented. They take care of their clients. They're very community-minded.
Oh, yeah.
So they've always been that. It's not something new. As I really got to know Bruce, many of the employees / partners in the company have been friends of his or acquaintances of his for 30 plus years. Some, I think, as far back as high school and college. That's a great company to work for. So we had discussed for a while me coming on board and ultimately decided that I was going to open up an office here. So we did that right at 15 years ago. And it has continued to grow. I have, 1,200 square foot office. I have 5 employees that are down here. We still manage a lot of our help desk and infrastructure from New York. Bit by Bit's recently added an Indonesia office, and that's not an outsourced office. That was actually one of our employees from New York that decided to move to Indonesia, and that has grown. I think we have 6 people full-time there.
Okay.
So whenever we build a server now, you can tell us at 5 o'clock to build a server. We're working on it overnight, and we have it up the next day.
Oh, well, that's who knows what's coming down the pike. As far as more expansion as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, that answered that question. Thank you. You were already with Bit by Bit. You were already in Texas. You weren't going to go to New York, but it kind of worked out well for you and of course, for Bit by Bit itself.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about the backstory with the family. Well, I'm sorry, what's the man's name?
Bruce Steinfeld.
Bruce. You're talking about Bruce being so community-oriented. I've noticed that here at the Chamber, I'm out and about. I'm always at events and whatnot. So are you. And I see not just Robert Blake, but I see Bit by Bit out at events. Why is, I guess it's a company policy from what you just said, but why is it so important to the company to be actively involved in the community?
It gives us a sense of value. So we're giving back. We have a lot of people that give to us and support us and, support the 80 people that are within, Bit by Bit.
Mm-hmm.
So for us to give back to the community is really gives us a sense of belonging to the community and makes sure that we know that we're helping those around us. So that's that better visibility.
Well, and it's great to see it because I do see it, and it's not, frankly, sometimes you might see people that are doing that because they're trying to drum up business. That's not the purpose at all.
It's not working.
You're out there for the pure give back factor and give back to the community.
That's what fills my heart and soul.
Mm-hmm.
I work with some people that River Legacy, the Advocates for Special People. I do special needs scouts. It's really a sense of fulfillment that gives me some sense of purpose.
Well, I got to say, the type of person that you are speaks volumes for the type of company that Bit by Bit is. I can see the similarity there. I appreciate the backstory.
Well,
the backstory.
What's nice is they support me in my endeavors.
Mm-hmm.
So, whether it's supporting River Legacy, supporting the Arlington Symphony, they give me full support in that.
Good. So, well, the other thing that you're actively involved in, both Robert Blake and Bit by Bit, chamber members. So, how long have you guys been members of the chamber? Do you know? You probably do know since you did it. You've been here in Texas for 15 years. I don't know. You've
Probably 14 years.
a long time at the chamber. But why? I mean, Bit by Bit was already a well-established company long before the chamber. What does the chamber bring to you as far as to help the company?
You know, sadly, I think the first several years that I underutilized the chamber and did not become involved.
Okay.
You know, once I became involved in the chamber, it helped me with being a part of the community. It helped me with meeting other businesses. You know, it's helped me get the chamber as a client.
Okay.
You know, so we're the official IT company of the chamber. You know, but it's really given, you know, again, that community development. It's helped me, you know, meet a lot of the, you know, political scene in the community, a lot of the businesses in the community, and it's really opened the doors for anybody that I go talk to, and certainly in Arlington, to be able to say I'm part of the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce.
You know, you just brought us something that's near and dear to my part. I mean, obviously, I'm on staff here with the chamber, and we getting people to join the chamber. That's a great first step. But to become active members is the next part, and you just touched on that.
Yeah.
Great. Being a member is one thing. Being an active member is a whole different ballgame.
You know, I talk to a lot of people in the chamber, and you know, as an ambassador of the chamber, you know, how do I do better networking? How do I get people to give me business? And that's really not the best mindset. The best mindset is how can I help other people?
Goodness.
And that's how you'll get business. So if you come into the chamber expecting that things are just magically going to happen overnight, that's not the case. You get into it you get out of it what you put into it.
Well, we appreciate that. I appreciate your involvement. Okay, switching back to the company here.
Okay.
If someone, do you run into situations to where somebody, maybe they use someone else and you got to come in and fix problems that you didn't create? So you're cleaning up other people's messes. Is that an everyday occurrence when you get a new customer?
That is every client. So very seldom do we take on a client that everything was perfect before. But a lot of times there's differences. A lot of times things have not been kept up with. The majority of the clients on the smaller side that we take on are those growing companies that started with, you know, the secretary doing IT or their cousin that did the IT, and so they've kind of patched things together over the years.
Okay.
Bit by Bit really comes in with the philosophy of how do we make it right. So whenever we come in and take over a client, we evaluate everything. We look at the servers, we look at the age of the computers, we look at how everything's laid out. You know, are things configured the old way or the new way? And we really try to help put together a plan so we get you the latest standards, the latest security. Security is the important. You know, just because you have something configured one way and there's a better way to do it isn't always the way it has to be.
Well, plus there's always the bad guys on the other side of things.
Correct.
Trying to figure out, you know, one's the mouse and the mousetrap, and they're always going back and forth with each other. But Bit by Bit's able to stay one step ahead.
Correct.
Going.
So far.
Well, so I have no doubt you'll continue.
That's what we strive to do. Yeah, you have, you know, backups I still think are the most important thing going on today, and making sure they have good, secure backups. But now we still have to do end user training because I can't stop you from you.
Right.
You know, when you get that email that you shouldn't have opened,
Yeah.
you have to know not
Click
to do
the link that says don't click the link.
Right. We we can secure a system only so much before it becomes unusable.
Okay.
So if we secure it to where nothing will happen, you also will have an unusable system.
Yeah.
So you have to have this balance. But the balance today is also education of the employees. So one of the things that we did over the last 2 years is all of our managed service clients no longer have the choice. They are going to be part of the security awareness training so that all of their employees are able to get that experience. So we tell them, hey, don't click that. Don't open that. If it looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Is it helping on your end now as the workforce gets younger? You don't have a lot of people like me that didn't grow up with computers. A lot of people coming into the workforce now, they've always been around computers. Does that help you? or no?
No.
Does it get to a situation where they think they know more than they
Well, the emails change. AI is really becoming a
Fair.
huge thing. Used to, and since I spell bad in my emails, if you've ever got one, you know, they always said if it has bad spelling, it's probably a bad email. Well, it's not always true.
Okay.
Well, AI has come up with the new stuff. There's no misspellings anymore.
Right.
You know, those misspellings and those transitions were because somebody that didn't speak English as a first language was writing this email and translating it.
Uh-huh.
Figure if you were really that smart, you should just have spell check.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what's happened. Well, AI is giving it a whole new landscape. You know, they can in real time start talking back and forth with you, and you don't even realize it.
Right. And then next thing you know,
You're giving them.
the alarms are going off.
You know, we have lots of stuff where, you know, the CEO goes on vacation and posts it on Facebook. Somebody will see that. They send emails to the secretary. Hey, I need $5,000 or I need $10,000. You know, I've had companies that have showed me emails that they almost fail for.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, it just takes that. In fact, one of our chamber members, when I first took them on as a client, had somebody call, or actually they emailed, and they said, please wire X amount of money. He sent him the form. He got the form back. It was completely filled out with everything that was needed, except it was this odd bank. So he picked up the client and called and found out that it wasn't him.
Goodness gracious.
So they were that close
Doing it.
from transferring out $50,000.
Well, it's just suffice it to say that whatever may come along, whether it's AI or whatever other things that are out there that maybe even you don't know about, you are going to know about them, and you're going to know about them in time to be proactive, like we mentioned earlier, to take care of the clients you have today and the clients that you'll have down the future.
That's why bit by bit having a team of individuals instead of an individual managing your systems makes a huge difference. You know, whether it's the person or the team that we have that specializes in email, security, desktop support, you know, telephony. So we take care of it in that fashion. So we don't have one guy trying to learn everything.
Right. You got teams that are there.
Correct.
And your team are your clients' teams as well.
Correct.
All right, Robert, we're out of time today. I appreciate you coming in. It's always fun to talk to you, but it was really nice to learn a little bit more. I've learned a lot today about bit by bit I was unaware of, but the one thing that I've known all along, you guys are great companies. You take care of your clients. You're truly the IT department for everyone you work with. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Hey, and as always, we appreciate you being with us too. That's just like Robert knows and Bit by Bit knows, and we all know together we succeed. We catch you next time. Take care.
Take care.